There was a time that feels like a dream now, a time when your mind was quiet. No notifications, no scrolling, no noise, just you. If you grew up before the internet, you remember exactly what that felt like. Close your eyes for a second. Go back to a Tuesday afternoon in 1994. You're waiting for a bus, or maybe you're at the doctor's office. Your friend is 15 minutes late. What are you doing? You aren't pulling a glowing rectangle of glass out of your pocket. You aren't checking likes from people you don't even like. You're just there. You're watching the dust dance in a sunbeam. You're noticing the way the rain smells on the hot asphalt. You're looking at the patterns on the wallpaper. You're thinking. Really thinking. Your brain was in a state that doesn't exist anymore. A state of productive boredom. Something changed. And the scary part? Most people didn't even notice. The world got louder, but we got quieter inside. You lost a skill you didn't even know you had. The ability to be alone with your own thoughts without panicking. That silence wasn't empty. It was full. It was the soil where your personality was grown. And if you feel a strange ache in your chest today, it's because you miss that silence. You miss the version of you that lived there. You are part of a bridge generation, the last of your kind. The Zennials, the early Millennials, the late Gen X. But labels don't matter. What matters is what you saw. You are the only humans in history who will ever remember the before and the after. You're a digital immigrant with an analog soul. And think about your childhood. You played in the mud until the streetlights came on. Your parents had no idea where you were. No GPS, no Find My Phone, just a shout from the front porch. You lived in a world of physical things. Rotary phones, paper maps, encyclopedias that smelled like old paper. You had to memorize dozens of phone numbers. You had to wait for your favorite song to play on the radio just so you could record it on a cassette tape. But now, you're navigating AI. You're managing passwords. You're fighting algorithms. You have two completely different operating systems installed in your head. One was built on patience, physical presence, and the slow passage of time. The other is being forced into a world of instant gratification, 5-second videos, and 24/7 availability. You're a translator between two worlds that no longer speak to each other. That's why you're so tired. It's not the work, it's the friction. Your brain is running high-speed software on old-school, deep-thinking hardware. You are the living memory of what it means to be untracked. This isn't about nostalgia. This isn't about the good old days or complaining about kids these days. This is about your survival. This is about protecting the architecture of your mind. Because your childhood wasn't just simpler, it was a training ground for deep mental resilience. In this video, I'm going to show you the hidden code of your own memory. I'm going to explain why you feel this strange disconnect with the modern world, why you have a hunger for a silence you can't seem to find. We're going to talk about the science of your focus, the trap of the infinite scroll, and most importantly, how to use your analog base to reclaim your life. You aren't falling behind, you aren't becoming obsolete. In a world that has lost its mind to the machine, you have a secret weapon. A compass that everyone else has forgotten how to read. Today, we're going to learn how to use it again. Remember how it felt to look for something, to really search? If you wanted to know a fact in 1988, you had to earn it. You walked to the library. You touched the wood of the card catalog. You smelled the dust on the shelves. You found the book. You turned the pages. Knowledge had a physical weight. It had a cost. And because you worked for it, you valued it. Information was rare, and rarity creates meaning. Think about your photos. You had a roll of film with 24 shots. Each click was a choice. Each click cost money. You didn't see the result for a week. The waiting, that was the magic.
It taught you delayed gratification. You learned how to be excited for something that wasn't happening now. Modern psychology says this is the single biggest predictor of long-term success. You were trained to wait for what is good. Today, we take 10,000 photos and look at none of them. We have all the information in the world in our pocket, but we know nothing. You remember the texture of a Saturday morning with no plans. The others, they only knew the pixels. You remember when a friend was someone you sat with for hours in silence. Now a friend is a number on a screen. The world used to be thick. Now it's thin. You can feel the difference, King Wong.
Your brain is physically built differently. This isn't an opinion, it's neurobiology. When you read a physical book, your brain moves in a straight line. This builds deep focus. It builds a palace of memory. But the internet, it's not a line, it's a web. It's designed to scatter your attention like a handful of sand in the wind. Every notification is a tiny hit of dopamine, a tiny bing that tells your brain, look away, something else is happening. Research shows that the bridge generation has a stronger default mode network. That's the part of your brain that activates when you're doing nothing. It's where your imagination lives. It's where you process your trauma. It's where you figure out who you actually are. But today, we're killing that network. The second we feel bored, we grab the phone. We never let our brains idle. And if a car engine never idles, it burns out. You have a cognitive reserve that younger people are struggling to build. You know how to go back to that quiet place. Your dopamine system wasn't born into a slot machine world. You have a foundation of stability. You know that peace isn't something you download. It's something you protect. But let's be honest about the cost. You feel the weight of this duality every single day. It's the exhaustion of being a dual citizen. You remember when work ended when you walked out the door. Now your boss, your bills, and the world's problems are in your pocket while you're trying to sleep. You remember when privacy was the default setting of human life. Now you have to fight for it. You feel a constant low-level guilt. The guilt of not being connected enough. The guilt of being on your phone too much when you should be present. You're caught in the middle. You value the eye contact. You value the unspoken word. But the world is pushing you into emojis, 2x speed audio, and 15-second connections. You feel like you're losing your grip on what's real. Something essential is being filtered out of the human experience. It's like the world is becoming a copy of a copy, and you're the only one who remembers the original.
There is a massive psychological difference between being alone and being isolated. Before the internet, being alone was a sanctuary. It was the only time you could hear your own voice. No influencers, no trends, no political screaming, just you. But today, digital isolation is a global epidemic. You are surrounded by friends and followers, yet you've never felt more alone. Why? Because your analog brain knows the truth. It knows that a text message is not a conversation. It knows that a like is not a hug. It knows that watching someone's life on a screen is not the same as sharing a life in person. We are living through a crisis of intimacy. We've traded depth for reach. We've made connection efficient, but connection was never supposed to be efficient. Friendship takes time. Love takes presence. You feel the friction because you refuse to become a machine. Your heart is still tuned to a slower frequency, and that frequency is the only one that actually heals. So where does this leave you? You aren't a dinosaur. You aren't old-fashioned. You are a guardian. You are the keeper of a secret that the future is going to beg for. You know that the world keeps spinning if the Wi-Fi goes down. You know that your identity is not a profile. You know that the most important parts of your life will never be posted online. Your superpower is your muscle memory of being human. In a world of noise, your silence is a weapon. In a world of speed, your slowness is a protest. Use it. Don't let the algorithm tell you who to be. Don't let the infinite scroll steal your Saturdays. Teach the ones who come after you the value of the wait. Show them that the best answers aren't on Google. They are found in the quiet space between your breaths. You are the bridge. You have the map to a territory they have never seen. The present moment, the here and now. Don't lose that map. The future doesn't belong to the ones who build the smartest AI. It belongs to the ones who have the wisdom to turn it off. You remember the way home. You've been there before. It's time to go back.